So Rage Against the Machine was this popular band in the 90s during my formative years. And, they stood against the government, against the man, against this whole political machine that grinds up the working class. And they were for the people. They were the heroes, the voice of the voiceless, the song of the unheard or whatever. And they're clear leftists. But people didn't really think too much about, leftist politics in everyday America because things were going pretty good in the 90s. The 90s were a cool time. When I talk about victory because Republicans are winning, it's not because I'm like, yes, a Republican. It's like, no, the goal of Americans, I think, should be limiting the power capacity of the government. That's the stated and objective purpose of our Constitution. Limiting their ability to impose on the day-to-day lives and rights of the American citizen. So I celebrate conservative wins right now because it's restraining the madness of the authoritarian left. I want to live in a system. What victory looks like is basically too much sand in the gears of government to where all they can do is debate the marginal tax rate or long-term capital gains or something and leave me the heck alone. And I would think, somebody that's for the people, for the working man would understand the desire simply to be left alone by their government, live in peace. But here we can see they rescheduled Rage Against the Machine. What's this, July 21st to 23rd, 2022. And you go down here to policies. Injection requirements. Each fan aged 12 and older must present proof of full COVID injection along with government-issued ID at entry gates. They say we are no longer able to accept proof of a negative test for admittance. Children 11 or younger are exempted. And it literally says here, in accordance with the Ministry of Health guidance, an individual is considered fully injected if they have received a full series of COVID-V authorized by Health Canada or any combination of such injections, 1 or 2 doses of a COVID-V not authorized by Health Canada, followed by 1 dose of a COVID mRNA-V authorized by Health Canada, or 3 doses of a COVID-V not authorized by Health Canada, and they receive their final dose of the COVID-19-V at least 14 days before providing the proof of being fully injected. A negative test result will no longer be accepted. Are you serious? In compliance with the Ministry of Health guidance. That's straight out of 1984. This is your rebel. This is your modern day leftist rebel. And it's why I call them Larp Against the Machine. Larpers, like live action role playing, the guys that dress up as knights and wizards and lightning bolt. These aren't really rebels. These aren't leftist revolutionaries. They're just people dressed up in a permanent Halloween costume. It's dreadlocks, tattoos, and nose piercings. It's just people that are angry. And they're just going to be like, I hate this, I hate that. Okay. Well, show me what hate builds. Love builds a family. Love builds a community. Love, is the Christian virtue that built the West. Show me what anger has achieved. Can you use anger for good? Well, it hasn't worked yet, but hey, insane people do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Skillet, John Cooper, criticizes Larp Against the Machine as just government rock now. And they are. They're literally parroting the government line. Skillet's John Cooper throws some shade in the direction of Larp Against the Machine, questioning the authenticity of the band's political opinions. Well, do as I say, not as I do, right? You see floor tickets for Larp as something like $750 a piece. That if 2 and 3 of your friends want to go see some music for a couple hours, you have to pay like $2,000. That's like a decent family vacation for a lot of people. So here, John Cooper claims, as I think we can see, all that's going on here is an insane power grab. This is an attack on Western values, on freedoms, and on the things that built the West. It is tyranny and totalitarianism. And you can watch this interview. Cooper elaborates on his thesis that the injections are tools of government control. and more about tyranny than keeping people safe. I think that's quite obvious. And takes a potshot at Larp in the process. He says, so a lot of bands don't know what to do. You're in an entertainment industry. Never forget, Larp against the machine are just entertainment. Capitalist entertainment. Highly profitable capitalist entertainment, and they're not giving free shows as of right now, even though they're all fabulously wealthy because of capitalism. You're in an entertainment industry that's driven by social media and media at large. You're not allowed to speak anything against, well, I mean, you've got Larp against the machine telling people that if they don't get an injection, they can't attend their concerts. Larp against the machine has become the machine because they're trying to set up a globalist superstate, and they want everyone to have their papers, please. And so you want to travel, you want to go to the store, you want to get medical. Like, you guys all understand all this. I know that. But that is the machine. They're not raging against any machine. They're advocating for an even bigger machine. A super machine, an unstoppable, undefeatable machine. So Tom Morello posted this meme, and I know the saying, the left can't meme, and so this doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I'll try and go through it. And again, it's not that the left can't meme and the right can meme, like there's some magical skill. It's that the truth can be memed. And right now, the left is suffering from a delusional worldview, and the right is more aligned with the truth. It'll change, pendulums swing, but you see the Republicans thinking DeCovey is fake. Well, that's some do, but there's a lot that don't. They are just in favor of the constitutional rights and individual liberties that built Western civilization. And he has him stepping on the rake, hitting himself in the face. Okay, like, it's not funny. It's straw manning your opponent. And the left is famous for straw manning their opponent. Like, steel man your opponent and see if you can defeat them then, because that's what gets you to truth. Don't pick out the weakest part of an opponent's argument or the craziest section and say, well, they're all stupid because of this small group. Take the strongest argument they have to make, which I think is the argument for freedom, in opposing, say, a massive machine taking over every part of our individual lives. What do you think there, Larp? So I had to look at this for a while, but this Democrat response to the Covey here, what this guy is doing, if you ever watch people skateboard, is he's riding the rake. He's like jumping up the stairs, and he's doing like a board slide or a grind down the bar. But then at the end, he's still hitting himself in the face. So he thinks the Democrats also failed. But why? He says, Democrats believing science, okay, science is a process, not a religion, not a faith, not anything other than a repeatable, reproducible results in a lab that you can then document and show the statistics, none of which is being done right now. It's a practice. Science is a practice, a discipline. It's not something you worship. But anyway, so Democrats believing in the science, but also believing in capitalism. So this guy hitting himself in the face with the rake must be the part that believes in capitalism. Like, oh, you're so stupid. By believing in capitalism, you have a record number of cases. Okay, so these injections that you're requiring were developed by massive global corporations that are raking in the profits that you are supporting. You are furthering this huge pharma business, Tom, but nevertheless. So the Democrats believing in the science is like this kickflip grind on the rake, the super awesome trick. Well, what is the Democrat response? Partially Trump too, I'm not going to deny that. Well, it's been lockdowns, it's been mandates, illegal, unconstitutional mandates, as of the other day, by the way. Unfortunately for some of us, it's still not cause for celebration because all the petty tyrants now come out and say, well, I don't care what the Supreme Court says, we're going to go with it anyway. And it's like, well, there's a labor shortage and it's going to be a lot easier for me to find a different job then. But that's neither here nor there. But Tom, I thought you stood for the working class. Believing in the science. So What this meme, and I don't think it's a stretch to say, is he favors the Democrat response, which is more masking, more injecting, more boosting, more lockdowning, more banning people from going to the restaurant, more requirements, isolating people, and ostracizing and exiling people. That's a super awesome kickflip grind. So LARP against the machine is LARPing for the machine. He wants complete and total government control, submission to top-down authority. That's what this meme means. That's insane. That's not rebellious. I have as the saying of this channel a very simple slogan: speak truth or serve evil. And I also believe, as opposed to many leftists it seems, the ends do not justify the means. If you have utopian ends, if you have a better world, you don't get there through brutalities or the taking away of people's rights. If you have a noble end goal, every step along your path needs to be worthy of that goal. Or else, if the means sully some beautiful future where everyone's free and happy and there is no poverty or starvation, you can't suspend the individual rights and freedoms in order to try to get there, because the means are so vile. They so trample all the human individual rights that would make that end a beautiful place to be, that it's self-defeating, it's self-destructive. You can't suspend freedom to save freedom or get more in the future. It doesn't work that way. It never works that way. If you want a better world, if you want a better society, the way out of hell is to start speaking the truth, whether it aligns with your political ideology or not. If you drink too much and you have an alcohol problem and your body's falling apart and you're sick all the time, the way out of that hell is to go to a meeting and stand in front of your peers and say, hey, I'm Joe Blow and I'm an alcoholic. That speaking of truth lets you begin to make rational decisions to get yourself out of that self-created hell. And the way out of this politically driven societal cultural hell is to start saying things that are true. It's not an immunization. You're not going to eradicate this like smallpox. The Republicans aren't denying science. Science isn't a faith. It is a practice. Speak truth or serve evil.